week for Elon Musk, big week for Twitter. Today, I'm going to explore the top 5 moves by Elon Musk on his first week after purchasing Twitter. Hello, Tom Levecki here with a quick and special live edition of the Armchair MBA. I'm here in my office. I'm working from home and I'm just doing some work. And I was actually thinking about the Twitter acquisition and how it kind of rolled out and the top 5 moves that Elon Musk already made within Twitter after owning it, and some major moves that I just want to go through today. It's a little different than our usual mob stuff. We're going to focus a little bit on some business content today, and we're going to be focusing on Elon Musk. Just to give you a quick backstory, the May 24th of this year, I had the pleasure of hosting the show with my good friend and colleague, RJ Roger. RJ Roger has Black Handprint Mafia. Check that channel out if you haven't. And he also is doing No Excuses with Mikey Scars. With that being said, there was 2 predictions that I made that happened. The first was I predicted that Elon Musk will successfully close on the Twitter deal. A lot of people didn't believe that he would do it. They thought it was a PR stunt. He was actually trying to get at it at the time. But I think with him, it's a nice strategic fit for him business-wise. He had the money and or the leverage to do it, meaning he could get the loans that are needed. And frankly, the guy's a genius and had the balls. So he completed that deal obviously very recently, or obviously about a week ago, where he finally took over with the change of control. So I was right on that prediction. Even RJ said he's going to do a piece on it. Look forward to hearing it because I was right on that. Number 2, I predicted an economic collapse. Now, granted, the Dow is only off 13% this year. That could be considered a mild correction, 20% mark. We'll get into correction territory. But if you look, very recently, it was as low as 28,000. So it shrunk down from 37,000 to 28,000. And it did kind of go up very recently. The only reason why it went up very recently is because they raised interest rates from the Fed, but to an expected amount, 75 basis points or 0.75. Okay. But here's my next prediction. This is part of the reason I want to do this video before I get into the Elon Musk and what's going on at Twitter. I predict 10% insurance rates, mortgage interest rates. They're imminent. If you want to get a mortgage now, it's 7%. So if you had a house that was $400,000, you put down 20%, you had a 5.5% interest rate mortgage. Your mortgage was $2,000 or $2,300, maybe at most, all in depending on taxes and everything, $2,300. You now get that same house, put down 20%, and it's about 7%. You're now spending $2,900 or $3,000 from that same house. Basically, your buying power is reduced by 1/3. Okay. Now, I don't know about you. I have my own business. I cannot go to my clients and ask for a 33% increase in my services. Good luck going to your boss and asking for a 33% raise. So if you had cash on the sidelines, meaning if you had $10,000 in a bank account roughly a year ago, although it's $10,000 in now for you, and if maybe went up to $10,050, it's really only worth about, in my opinion, about $8,500 right now in buying power. So what's happening is we're having a deflationary or inflationary period, which is basically deflating your money, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of reason for that. But again, I'm kind of hyper focused in on Elon Musk's first week at Twitter. My favorite, walked in with a sink. So throwing everything and the kitchen sink at Twitter, a good PR move, kind of set the tone. And Elon Musk has balls, which I will about to go into. Okay. So top 5 moves by Elon Musk from his first week at Twitter. Number 1, crap canning, or I think I could say shit canning, the entire Twitter board. This includes the CEO, longtime board members, people that are very prestigious, very prominent people in the tech and business space. For those that don't know what a board of directors is, most of you do. They're basically the overseers of the company. They don't work there every day. They worked on a part-time basis, but they're supposed to be an impartial group that's supposed to oversee the higher strategy and oversee the higher decisions of the company, hiring and firing a CEO, for example. Maybe, for example, acquiring a company, accepting a buyout, and so forth, right? So his number one move essentially was to get rid of the entire board, and he is the sole member of the board. Granted, this is temporary, but nevertheless, it's a pretty ballsy move. Judging by the number of people on the board, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it was an even number. Generally, what you do in this case is you kind of sit down with everybody. You kind of who's on your green team for you. You kind of see who's against you, and you just get rid of the people against you. So you need controlling interests of the board. So whether you have 5 people or 8 people, it's the same difference. But in this case, which means he has balls, he went scorched earth on getting rid of the entire Twitter board. Number 2, he got rid of pretty much the whole administration, if you will, of the company. He got rid of Agrawal, who's a longtime CEO, got rid of the CFO, got rid of the chief creative officer, pretty much gutted the C-suite over at Twitter. And the reason why he wants to do that, and just, for reason number one, you're like, well, is that normal to get rid of the entire board? Absolutely not. As an investor or as somebody who wants to kind of say, hey, what's going on here? You always want to keep some level of continuity, but also exact change. So getting rid of an entire board of directors is highly unusual, but Elon marches to his own drummer, as you know. Then number 2, do you typically get rid of the entire C-suite? Again, you probably get rid of maybe the CEO, you maybe get rid of the CFO, maybe you install some of your old people. But the guy went pretty scorched earth on the C-suite again. And don't get me wrong, don't cry foul for those people. Their golden parachutes and change of control and everything else is probably well into the 7 figures. So don't feel bad for them. But what is interesting is he is going to install his own people. So you're really going to see a huge sea change here when it comes to Twitter. Why is this important? Okay, let me get into the next one. Well, number 4 will be there in a second to get into why it's important in terms of free speech and that kind of stuff. But number 3, he's bringing in his engineers, his top 50 software engineers from Tesla to audit the code. They believe there's a lot of bots. They believe there's some gray area stuff going on. They think there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on. So typically you audit code unless you don't trust the code. And even though you're buying the company and you do your due diligence and you check out the code, you're not always privy to everything because that is work product and you can steal it. Nevertheless, they brought in his own people at Tesla, his engineers, to check out the code. And to be quite honest with you, it'll be interesting to see what they discover, right? Is it, are bots made on purpose? Why are they not filtering for bots more? Are people embellishing their numbers to raise your advertising rates? This is all stuff that's bound by the SEC and by the law. So they may find some fraudulent stuff. You never know. And again, kind of take over and may have to re-engineer the code or redo the code, or maybe, do a sweep and get rid of fake followers that people have. But fake followers are a big deal because what people do is they inflate their followers to try to get more higher advertising rates. And Twitter may have done that as well. So he's bringing his top 50 engineers, Tesla engineers, probably some of the smartest people in the space, going to check out the software over at Twitter. Okay, now this is what I was saying earlier. This is probably the most important one. Okay, whether we like it or not, and I'm just going to call balls and strikes on this, but I believe in my personal opinion and somewhat factual basis is if you were a conservative voice on Twitter, you were disproportionately sacked, right? Trump was taken off and a few other people were taken off. Some people were muted and they felt that wasn't really a good, strong voice for the conservatives with that, a conservative voice, right? So that was mostly because there was moderators that essentially were believed to be left-leaning. The moderators come in, they deem something to be hate speech or false news or whatever that is. It couldn't be verified. They would go ahead and mute or knock that person off the platform. The problem with that is my personal opinion is, I think personal beliefs got in the way. So what he did was he announced a new form of moderation council, which include people from the civil rights community, but also groups that will recognize and face any hate-fueled violence. And then that what's pretty cool is they're also going to reevaluate anybody who is deplatformed recently, and then they may invite that person on. So the question is Trump back on Twitter? Not yet. Is he going to go back on? I assume he would, because that would be somewhat of a moral victory for him, in my opinion, give him greater reach, especially if he runs again. But at the moment, he is not back on. But with the revamped moderation, we do think it's going to widen the scope of free speech, which I believe was the original intention for Twitter, as well as is Trump going to be back on? My prediction there is going to be a staunch yes. Oops, my bad. I think I missed one. Okay, audit, revamp. Hold on. I think I missed one. Oh, God. This is why you don't do these live. Hold on. 2 minutes. Okay. Here we go. Sorry about that. Okay. My last one, I didn't save correctly, was will he bring back Vine? Okay. The reason why Vine is important. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I misconstrued it. Is he bringing back Vine, and why is this important? Right. Right now, TikTok is winning the space for short form content. Short form content as low as 15 seconds, maybe as long as 60 seconds, maybe as long as 3 minutes. This is about 15 minutes, so this will be a medium piece a form of content. But short-term content is coming back and has been back, and TikTok is ruling that space. If you notice, YouTube rolled out Shorts. That is meant to roll that out with against TikTok, right? So with that being said, it looks like they're exploring bringing back Vine, and I envision not Vine being its own platform or app. I envision the Vine like medium, if you will, or activity or technology being morphed into Twitter. So, for example, you could probably do a tweet. You can do Twitter video. I'm actually streaming on Twitter right now as we speak. I'm tweeting on my Armchair channel as well as Facebook, right? But the difference is with all of this is with Vine, it was, I think, 6 seconds of video, and he may have a Vine function, kind of a plugin, if you will, in there. Maybe call it, Vine by Twitter or whatever it is, and big back Vine, which could be a big, big win for the company. So again, my favorite picture I've ever seen in business. The fact that he's walking in with the kitchen sink, I think is pretty interesting, a pretty memorable event. And I just think it's just a badass move on his part. Okay, how did the stock react before we conclude? The stock, for the most part, for the year, has been up. It's up by 10% year to date. It's at 135, I believe, as of today, and it's doing pretty well. The question is the stock going to continue to go up? Elon moves the right moves that I mentioned, or is he going to install the right people? Is this going to be a $400, $500, $600 stock? Right? There's some clamoring of advertisers. There's a Trump fist. Yeah, it could be interesting. And a lot of this is happening right before the midterm elections, which is happening next Tuesday. So interesting enough to see what role this has. Is the conservative voice going to get out there pretty much quicker before Tuesday? Are they going to have an influence? And if not, what's going to happen afterwards? Right? So you're going to have the midterm elections, right? And a lot of people say the midterm elections are going to be a litmus test for the current administration. So as Fistful of Trump is predicting, he's predicting a red wave. I will agree with that statement. I do think there's going to be a red wave, right? But what happens is, and I think Fist knows this, what happens is you win the midterm elections, you feel really good. We're going to exact change. Change is happening. Maybe they win the House, whatever that is when there is a red wave. But then sometimes 2 years later, there's a little bit of a backlash, And sometimes like the whiplash or backlash is so much, it has an effect on the presidency that will actually be negative for the GOP. So you might see a red wave, but there's a good chance that it may blow back. And you heard it here. A lot of pundits are saying, well, there's going to be a red wave and it's going to kind of go all the way to the White House. Nope. You're going to see a red wave. And then I think the farther it goes right, my right, your left. Yeah, make it short. The farther it goes right, I think there will be a blowback for the presidency. So my opinion is if you see a moderate shift to the right, that will bode well for the Republicans in for the presidential election. If you see a super far right takeover, as Fist and a lot of people are predicting through a red wave, I predict a blowback for the presidential candidate presidency. Just my opinion. But if you see, I do a lot of predictions. I follow up on these predictions. And I've been pretty damn right on many of them. So just my humble opinion there. So like I said, the stock price is up year to date. It was as low as probably about like 85-ish. So if you bought it on the dip, you made some money. It's going to be resistant, I think, to the inflationary pressures. I also think it's going to be how do I say this? I think there's going to be less financial pressure. I don't think they're going to be worrying about the earnings per share for the next 4 to 6 quarters because they know it's going to be a crap show. They know he's not going to make a lot of money, and they're going to give him some time to revamp it. My day job, I'm a digital marketer. I buy advertising space all the time, and a lot of big advertisers have announced they're actually going to pull their money out of Twitter and their media buying out of Twitter. In the beginning, I personally believe that that's going to hurt them financially. But as a media buyer, if he revamps it and becomes an important space again, you got to live in that space. You have an obligation to your clients. Even if they have a political aversion to it, or maybe they're against it morally. As a media buyer, you can only inject so much, and you're going to say, "Hey, listen, we need more clients. We need to spend some money in media. Facebook's expensive, Google is expensive," and then it may make Twitter very attractive to media buyers if people walk away because there is a supply and demand mechanism. So I wanted to kind of throw my opinion out there that I think in the beginning, some of the big media buyers are going to pull back because they're going to be pulled in by the companies, or they just might have a moral aversion towards it. But I think in the long run, I think it's going to snap back. And I don't want to put Twitter out as a buy at 135. I put it as a watch and see. If it goes down, definitely under 115-ish, I would pick some up. If it goes up, I'm wrong, and you left some money on the table. But I just see the downside being bigger than the upside right now, and buying on a dip may be beneficial. So this was kind of a quick and dirty kind of business episode of the Armchair MBA. I don't do as many of these as I would like, but I like to pop in and kind of give business topics as we speak. Some channel updates. Channel's going really well. George, who works with me, is killing it. Over 800,000 views between the short videos, and the long form content last month alone. And this month, we're actually projected to do over 1 million views, which is insane, all in 1 month. I can't complain. It's just doing really well. You only make money off the short videos and the long-term views. So we are seeing a nice increase in the financials, which is good. But then we have some great people that have been giving super chats, that have been signing up for thanks. And then also we just kind of soft launched a membership model that includes 3 levels. Check that out. You're welcome to sign up. There will be exclusive content. You guys know I get some premium guests. So when that's built out, that's going to acquire members only content because I'm putting out some super premium content, which is very expensive. So I'm also working out a sponsorship deal extension with JSV Capital. I want to give a shout out to JSV. If you're looking to make some extra money, they have a mentorship course. I'll put a link below. JSV Capital mentorship course. There's 3 different levels. You become a loan consultant. You can do really well. It could be a part-time job. It could be your own business. It could be your full-time career. That's what he does, and he's willing to share it with other people. And he has some really attractive rates if you mention the podcast. So we got some sponsorship opportunities. We got stuff cooking. And that's pretty much it. Not a large audience on the views. It doesn't matter to me. People say, well, you don't get a lot of views on live. It really doesn't matter. I care about the total views. I care about reaching as many people as we can. Last month, we reached over 360,000 people who visited over 2 times to the channel each. And that's what we're looking to build. We are looking to build a mass market channel. Every day we're growing. We can't do it without you. I can't thank you enough. If more than likely you're probably watching this on the rerun, drop your comments below. What do you think of Elon's moves? What do you think the future holds for Twitter? Is Twitter a buy? Is Twitter a hold? Is Twitter a sell? Drop your thoughts about the midterm elections. I'm not afraid to have a good discussion with people. Is there going to be a red wave? There's a lot of things that are going on that I am not afraid to talk about. I think these things should be talked about, just as long as you're respectful and you have a fruitful dialogue. So that's it for today. I got to get back to my day. This was a quick and dirty one. Was Elon Musk's moves, top 5 moves that he made this week, were they beneficial for the company in the short and long run? I think they are. I'm going to give you a heads up. This is not going to get a lot of views. Not because I buy subscribers, not because I buy fakes. There's certain stuff in the algorithm are getting squelched as we speak, so they do not get pushed out as much. If I put Elon Musk and Twitter, it will get less. But I don't care. I just want people to see that are interested. I rather get 100 views of people that care than get 10,000 views where people are kind of casual about it. So those are my 2 cents. Thank you for checking out this quick and dirty live special on the Armchair MBA. Until next time, talk to you soon.